The clock reads 2:34 a.m. Most of the northern hemisphere is asleep. In Berlin, Tokyo, New York, and Moscow, millions of people dream ordinary dreams. They worry about mortgage, breakups, Monday morning meetings. None of them know that in a fortified bunker beneath the Ural Mountains, a general just received authorization codes. None of them hear the encrypted burst transmission that races across military satellites at the speed of light. The message is simple: execute. And in that single word, transmitted in milliseconds, the world you know begins to die. You're asleep right now. Maybe you're in bed beside someone you love. Maybe you're alone, phone charging on the nightstand. Alarm set for 6:30 a.m. Outside your window, the street is quiet. A few cars pass. A dog barks somewhere in the distance. The hum of your refrigerator provides white noise. Everything feels permanent, stable, normal. But 4,000 miles away, something is already in motion. Something that will reach you before sunrise. The terrifying truth is this: World War III doesn't announce itself. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It begins in silence, in darkness, while you're unconscious and vulnerable. And the hours you spend sleeping tonight are the hours that will determine whether you see next week. The first strike isn't a non-nuclear warhead. It's invisible. At 2:41 a.m. Eastern European Time, a sophisticated cyberweapon tears through NATO's integrated air defense network. Engineers designed this malware over years, tested it in secret, waited for this exact moment. It doesn't destroy systems. It does something worse. It makes them lie. Radar screens across Poland, Romania, and the Baltic states show clear skies. But the skies aren't clear. Hypersonic missiles are already screaming through the stratosphere at Mach 9, too fast for traditional intercept systems, too low for most satellites to track continuously. By the time human operators realize their screens are showing ghost data, the missiles are 60 seconds from impact. The targets aren't cities, not yet. They're communication hubs, satellite ground stations, and military command centers. The strikes are surgical, precise, devastating. A command bunker in Estonia takes a direct hit. The explosion vaporizes 3 stories of reinforced concrete in 0.8 seconds. 47 personnel are inside. None survive. An airbase in eastern Poland erupts in sequential detonations as fuel depots ignite. Fighter jets that could have scrambled are now burning wreckage. In Brussels, the secure line to NATO headquarters goes dead. Then another. Then 5 more. Within 4 minutes, the alliance's ability to coordinate a response is crippled. You're still asleep. Your body is in REM sleep now, eyes moving beneath closed lids. You might be dreaming about something mundane, a conversation with a friend, a place you visited years ago. Your subconscious has no idea that while you dream, submarine-launched cruise missiles are racing toward infrastructure targets across Europe. No idea that in the White House Situation Room, a military aide just burst through the door with a red folder and 3 words. "Sir, it's happening." At 2:53 a.m., the first satellites die. Not from missiles, but from something more insidious. Ground-based lasers, invisible to the naked eye, focus on communication satellites in geosynchronous orbit. The intense heat doesn't explode them. It simply fries their electronics, turning billion-dollar assets into useless metal shells tumbling through space. GPS signals begin to stutter and fail. Commercial airline pilots frown at their instruments, seeing error messages they've never encountered in training. Air traffic controllers watch their screens flicker. In server farms across North America and Europe, automated systems detect the GPS anomalies and trigger fail-safes. Internet traffic begins to slow, then fragment. The power grid is next. At 3:07 a.m., transformer stations in 7 countries receive simultaneous overload commands through compromised industrial control systems. These aren't explosions. They're precisely calibrated electrical surges that cause cascading failures. Transformers overheat, protective systems trigger, and entire regions go dark. In Frankfurt, hospital backup generators kick in automatically. In Krakow, the metro system goes silent mid-tunnel, passengers trapped in darkness. In Stockholm, every traffic light in the city center goes black. Confused drivers inch forward, horns blaring. You're still asleep, but somewhere in your unconscious mind, your brain might register a change. The ambient light from your alarm clock is gone. The subtle vibration of electronics humming has stopped. Maybe you shift in bed, pulling the blanket tighter. Maybe you don't notice at all. Outside, street lights have gone dark. Your neighbor's porch light is off. Every house on your block is a silent shadow. If you could see from above, you'd notice entire cities going dark in waves, like someone is erasing the lights of civilization one section at a time. At 3:19 a.m., the President of the United States is physically lifted from bed by Secret Service agents. There's no time for explanations, no time to dress properly. The emergency protocols are clear. Within 90 seconds, the President is moving through corridors most White House staff don't know exist, heading for Marine One on the South Lawn. The destination is classified, but everyone knows the options. Mount Weather, Raven Rock, Cheyenne Mountain, somewhere deep enough to survive what might be coming. The Vice President is already being evacuated separately. Continuity of government isn't a theory anymore. It's happening in real time. In Moscow, a similar scene unfolds. In Beijing, London, Paris, leaders are woken, briefed in seconds, moved to secure locations. The old Cold War playbook is dusted off and executed with terrifying efficiency. But there's a problem. The communication systems those playbooks rely on are damaged or destroyed. Secure phone lines are dead. Satellite links are intermittent. Military commanders are making decisions with partial information, operating on doctrine written for a world where reconnaissance and intelligence still functioned. At 3:34 a.m., the first conventional bombs fall on military targets. These aren't nuclear weapons. Not yet. They're bunker busters and thermobaric weapons designed to obliterate without leaving radioactive signatures. An ammunition depot in Germany erupts in a fireball visible for 30 miles. The explosion registers on seismographs as a magnitude 3.1 earthquake. 17 miles away you might feel it, a subtle vibration. Maybe you wake up for a second, confused, then drift back to sleep. Your brain categorizes it as a truck passing or a dream and lets it go. Across the Atlantic, NORAD's Cheyenne Mountain Complex come fully online. The blast doors, 25 tons of steel, seal shut. Inside, hundreds of personnel stare at screens showing a fragmentary, terrifying picture. Communication with European command is sporadic. Satellite coverage has gaps. Early warning systems are giving conflicting data. A brigadier general asks the question everyone is thinking. Do we have confirmation of nuclear launch? The answer comes back uncertain. Not yet confirmed. But we've lost telemetry on multiple Russian and Chinese silos. You're still asleep. It's 3:41 a.m. In 5 hours, you're supposed to wake up for work. Take a shower. Make coffee. Check your email. Complain about traffic. But that world is already gone. You just don't know it yet. The consensus reality you fell asleep in, where wars happen somewhere else and normal life continues, has evaporated. When you wake up, you'll be in a different world, one where the rules have changed, where the infrastructure you take for granted has failed, where the word emergency has regained its original terrifying meaning. At 4:02 a.m., the internet begins to die. Not all at once, but in chunks. Major backbone routes go down. DNS servers become unreachable. In Silicon Valley, engineers stare in disbelief as connectivity maps turn red. Social media platforms crash under impossible load as millions of Europeans who are awake try to understand what's happening. The last coherent posts are desperate. Explosions in Warsaw. No power. Anyone know what's going on? Then silence. Then nothing. The digital nervous system of modern civilization is severing. Emergency broadcast systems activate. In countries with functional infrastructure, phones emit that distinctive, bone-chilling alert tone. But in the affected zones, phones are dead. No signal, no bars, just expensive paperweights. Battery-powered radios become priceless. Those who own them scan frequencies, finding mostly static, but occasionally a voice. A shaking announcer reading from a script. This is an emergency alert. All citizens are advised to remain indoors. Seek shelter in basements or interior rooms. Await further instructions. This is not a test. You're still asleep. It's 4:18 a.m., but your body is starting to sense something wrong. Maybe it's the absolute silence. Modern life has a baseline hum. Electricity flowing. Traffic moving. That hum is gone. Your hindbrain, the ancient part that kept your ancestors alive, registers the wrongness. You shift in bed, uncomfortable. Your sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented. You're on the edge of waking, but not quite there yet. At 4:23 a.m., the first nuclear weapon detonates. It's not over a city. It's a high-altitude electromagnetic pulse device, detonated 200 miles above the North Atlantic. The gamma radiation cascades down, interacting with Earth's magnetic field. The resulting electromagnetic pulse is devastating. Every electronic device in a 600-mile radius is instantly fried. Cars on highways stop dead, their computer systems destroyed. Pacemakers fail. Data centers go dark. Phones, tablets, laptops, all turned into useless plastic and metal. The EMP doesn't make a sound you can hear. It doesn't create a mushroom cloud, but it pushes an entire region back to the pre-electrical age in one invisible pulse. Military installations that survived the initial strikes are now scrambling. Fighter jets take off from undamaged bases, but their targets are unclear. Satellite reconnaissance is gone. Radio communication is compromised. Pilots fly with visual contact and dead reckoning, like their great-grandfathers did in 1943. Submarines receive emergency action. Messages through extremely low-frequency transmitters, the only communication method that still works. The messages are terse, Assume DEFCON 1. Prepare for strategic launch orders. Authorization may follow. You wake up. It's 4:47 a.m. Something pulled you from sleep. You're not sure what. You lie in darkness, disoriented. You reach for your phone. The screen is dead. You press the power button. Nothing. You fumble for the lamp. Click. Nothing. Now you're awake. Fully adrenaline-sharp awake. You get out of bed, move to the window. The street is completely dark. No street lights. No glow from nearby houses. You can see stars, more stars than you've seen in years, because there's no light pollution. It's beautiful and terrifying. You try your phone again. Still dead. You remember you have a flashlight somewhere. You find it, click it on. The beam cuts through your dark apartment. You check the breaker box. Everything looks normal. This isn't a local outage. You go back to the window. Now you see movement. A neighbor across the street, also at their window, also holding a flashlight. You make eye contact through the glass. Even from this distance, you can see the fear. It's 5:03 a.m. across the northern hemisphere. Millions of people are waking to the same realization. Something is catastrophically wrong. Those with battery-powered radios hear fragments. Military action in Europe. Communication breakdown. Shelter in place. Those without radios hear nothing but silence and their own hammering hearts. Some people immediately panic. They grab car keys, trying to flee to somewhere, anywhere else. But cars won't start. Modern vehicles are computers on wheels. The EMP killed them. Older cars, pre-1980s, might run if they're far enough from the blast. But most people don't own vintage vehicles. You make a decision. You need information. You need to know what's happening. You go to your apartment door, open it cautiously. The hallway is dark. You hear doors opening, voices murmuring. Someone has a radio. You move toward the sound. 3 neighbors are clustered around a small transistor radio, the kind your grandfather owned. The voice coming through is broken, staticky, but understandable. ... reports of nuclear detonation over Atlantic ... Electromagnetic pulse has affected eastern seaboard. No immediate radiation danger from high-altitude burst. Remain calm. Do not attempt to travel ... Nuclear detonation. The words hit you like physical force. This isn't a power outage. This isn't a cyberattack exercise. This is the thing you've seen in movies, read about in history books. The nightmare scenario that was supposed to never actually happen. One of your neighbors starts crying. Another just stares, face blank with shock. You feel your own mind struggling to process. Just 6 hours ago, you went to bed in a normal world. Now you're listening to instructions for surviving the opening moves of World War III. It's 5:34 a.m. The sun will rise in approximately 90 minutes. You realize you need to think practically. You inventory what you have. Water? The faucet still works, but for how long? You fill every container you can find. Bathtub, pots, bottles, food. You have maybe a week's worth if you ration carefully. Medications? You have what's in your cabinet. No way to refill prescriptions now. Cash? You have $80 in your wallet. Not that money means much when there's nothing to buy and nowhere to buy it. Your mind races through implications. Your parents live 3 states away. No way to call them. No way to know if they're safe. Your sister is overseas. The uncertainty is crushing. You think about your job. laughable now. You think about the concert tickets you bought for next month. Absurd. The mental constructs of normal life are collapsing in real time. Every plan you made, every assumption you held about tomorrow, is evaporating. At 5:52 a.m., some cellular networks briefly flicker back to life in areas outside the EMP radius. For 30 seconds, phones buzz with a backlog of emergency alerts. Messages from hours ago finally delivering, but the networks can't handle the load. Millions of people trying to call, text, access data simultaneously. The system collapses again under the weight. Those who got through heard fragments. Stay inside. Avoid windows. Fallout projected within 72 hours, depending on wind patterns. Fallout. That word carries implications that make the previous hours seem almost manageable. You go back to your apartment. You turn on your battery-powered radio. The emergency broadcast system is running a loop now. This is an emergency action notification. Multiple hostile actions have occurred against the United States and allied nations. A state of war now exists. All citizens are ordered to shelter in place. Do not travel. Do not congregate in groups. Conserve food and water. Monitor this frequency for updates. Remain calm. Help is being organized. Further instructions will follow. The voice is mechanical, emotionless. It repeats every 90 seconds. It's 6:15 a.m. The sun is rising. You watch through your window as pale light spreads across the city. From this vantage point, everything looks normal. Buildings stand unchanged. Trees sway in the morning breeze, but there's no movement, no cars, no people walking dogs, no buses running. The city is a stage set, empty and silent. Then you notice the smoke. On the horizon, maybe 10 miles away, a thick column of black smoke rises. Something is burning. Something big. You think about leaving, maybe heading to your parents' house. It's a 3-hour drive normally, maybe a week on foot if roads are blocked, but the radio said stay put, said help is coming. You make the calculation everyone is making right now. Trust the authorities and wait, or trust yourself and move. There's no right answer. Both choices could kill you. You decide to wait. For now, you pull supplies into the most interior room of your apartment. Bathroom, no windows. You bring water, food, the radio, blankets. At 7:03 a.m., a second nuclear detonation occurs. This one is lower altitude, closer to a tactical strike. It targets a military installation, but the effects ripple outward. The flash is visible for 200 miles. Those who see it instinctively look away, covering their eyes, but the afterimage burns purple and green on their retinas. The shock wave follows 90 seconds later, rattling windows, setting off car alarms that still function. You hear it, a deep rolling thunder that doesn't stop. It reverberates, echoes, fades into something you feel in your chest more than hear. You know what that sound means. You know that somewhere right now, thousands of people just cease to exist in an instant of heat and light. The radio updates. Confirmed nuclear detonation, military target. Fallout projected northeast corridor. Seek basement or underground shelter immediately if within 50-mile radius. But which military target? Where? The information is fragmentary, maddening. You look at your apartment. 3rd floor. No basement access. You make another decision. You go downstairs. The building has a basement laundry room. Others have had the same idea. 15 people are crowded in the concrete room. Someone has brought camping lanterns. A woman is trying to comfort 2 small children. An elderly man sits quietly, tears running down his face. No one speaks much. What is there to say? It's 8:41 a.m. You should be at work now. Your boss should be complaining about quarterly reports. Instead, you're in a basement listening to a transistor radio describe the end of the world in bureaucratic language. Strategic exchanges have occurred in European theater. Strategic exchanges. Such clean words for indescribable horror. The radio announces that the president is safe in a secure location. Continuity of government is maintained. The vice president is also secure, location classified. The Secretary of Defense is coordinating response. It all sounds organized, controlled. But you know it's a lie. No one is controlling this. This is chaos with a script. Someone in the basement asks the question everyone is thinking. Is this it? Are they going to nuke the cities? No one answers because no one knows. The doctrine is counterforce first, military targets. But if this escalates, if someone decides that,